Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On the Boundary. Just two coaches chatting cricket. I'm still your host, Coach Lumamalo, and I'm with my co host, Spinach. Spinach, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How's your weekend?
Not too busy, not too busy. Got in some cricket, following more than playing this time, but yeah, not too busy.
It's not a weekend without cricket. Hey, mine was hectic. You know, when it's not your day, it's not your day. We had a game yesterday. It was a T20. So early in the morning, one of my batters pulls out. She was gonna bat four. Text me in the morning, hey, M17, they said I must come through. Okay, sure. We get to the game. My keeper, who bats number three, gets injured. Will not be able to bat. Okay, never mind that. As we are fielding, my other batter gets injured in the same game. She pulls something. She can't run. Lost about three of my of my top six, and it was a bit of a tough game. But you know, when it's not your day, it's not your day. Otherwise, today we
Uh,
are talking Test cricket. I know it's our favorite format. Um, Proteas, we just won a Test match in Asia in a while. It hasn't been, I don't know how long. The last time we won a Test match in Asia and in the subcontinent. Yeah. First test match against Bangladesh, Kochi. Your thoughts just on the test? How about in terms of how we went about our business? Do you have any concerns? Do you have any things where you'd like to say, this is what we have on lockdown, like we must keep it going? Just enjoy your thoughts in general.
uh, we touched on it in that episode we had with Audra. Touched on it a bit, and I think we sort of already had an idea of the direction the test was going. Uh, Top six didn't do the job, which was unfortunate, but it's something we've been struggling with for a while now in that test side. A consistent flow of runs with our most consistent batsman being Temba and now being out. It was a slight worry going into the series of will we get enough runs? We always believe in the batters and the fact that they will get the wickets. So it sort of turned out that way again, where we we struggled our way to a lead of 200. I know it was a lead of 200, but we struggled our way to a lead of 200 thanks to keeper batsman at number seven and an all-rounder at eight. I'm not sure why we have batsmen all the way to eight, but that's how we've gone, the direction we're going at the moment, and it saved us in that chess match. So that was going to be our struggle. But having Keshav Maharaj, having KG Ravada is always a plus for the team. So going forward, we were hoping and expecting that the top six start scoring runs because we need that to happen. Not just for this series, for the next two series, and try to get into that Test Championship final.
Yeah, no, sure, Coach Arand. It's very important that we win all of the next test matches that we have. That means it is important that we win whatever test race that is in front of us. We're still going to get to that though. You mentioned something about us having betting up until eight, and I think this is probably currently one of the most talking points in terms of the Proteas and Protea fans. And I don't know whether it was yesterday or the day before, but Coach Shooks was quoted saying that he doesn't believe in the whole idea of batting all rounder, bowling all rounder. He just believes in you're either an all rounder or you are not an all rounder. And then he went on to say Vian Mulder is basically a genuine all rounder. It's not something that I necessarily agree with. Also, it's not something that I disagree with. Vian Mulder when he was coming through the ranks. I remember I was probably one of the first few people to say if we were going to have anything close to a Jacques Callis, I think it would be Vian Mulder. Even though as time went on, I've sort of thought his cricket has gone back a little bit. But I want us to talk about coach saying he's a genuine all rounder, but doesn't slot him in the top 7. Instead, puts him in an 8. How does it affect the whole balance of the side? If it does affect the whole balance of the side, is it something that you agree with, or is it something you would like to see maybe happening differently? I saw today for the second test match, of which we're going to talk about, he's not batting at 8.
It's a tricky situation that because if, as Shruti said, she's a genuine all-rounder, and the fact that he's being picked as a second seamer first, because that's what it seemed to be, and then has that all-rounder batting ability. You look at it as if he's the seamer you want to play, his batting is a bonus wherever he comes in at, it's not a problem. Because you then saying the top 7 are your batters, the last 4 are my bowlers. The fact that one of my bottom 4 is a superstar batter as well is just a bonus. And lucky us, as you were saying the other day, what England used to have, having Chris Wokes and Moeen Ali coming in at 7 and 8 and sometimes 9, it becomes a bonus rather than a balance issue. Because, as we say, the top 7 are all batters. That shouldn't be affecting your balance. So if the bottom 4 are your bowlers, it doesn't matter if one of them can bat or doesn't make one bat.
But also the other thing, do we honestly believe that Vian Mulder can play as a bowler? That's the other question that I think we find ourselves asking ourselves. The question is, okay, fine. If we're saying he's that guy we're going to have at 8, are we suggesting that he is the next best seamer that we have in the country? I know Nandre Berger's injured. Marco is not available. Coach Shooks also went on to say that he sees Vian Mulder and Marco playing in the same team. And that's something I don't disagree with. As long as I will see Vian Mulder batting in the top 7, top 6, then Marco can come in at 8. I'm good with that. One thing personally that I don't agree and I don't see the real idea behind it is having Vian Mulder at 8, because I don't believe that he can play as a genuine bowler. I don't know what you think, coach, but for me, if I had to pick, if I had to pick based just on bowling and not the fact that he can bat, he wouldn't make my side.
I have to agree with you a bit there on him being a genuine bowler, and I think we need to be careful when we say genuine bowler, because I do think he's actually a genuine bowler and can play in a lot of teams as an out and out bowler. But is he our second best or even third best bowler just on bowling alone? And I think there he has brought in the performances of late, few against West Indies, now against the first session there against Bangladesh. So he is sort of putting the numbers down and not failing as our genuine bowler. But I would have to agree with you that he isn't our second best bowler in the country. And it is working now. And we are sort of getting away with it right now. We are taking 20 wickets. It did feel like in the second innings, it got heavy on KG Rabada, but KG is KG. But it felt like we were too reliant now on KG because we didn't have other strike bowlers to assist him.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where I was going. There's a picture of OKG sleeping in the change room, and you can see that the man was tired. You can see he was wasted. It's you can tell from the way he's sleeping that whoever wakes him up is gonna get into trouble. Um, Second innings, I also felt I don't know, man. I see Vian Mulder as a supporting seamer. Yes, there's gonna be times where he takes wickets, especially when conditions are working in his favor. He can move the ball, which is an extra for him. But personally, I see him as the third seamer. I see him as the guy who comes in, just holds up one end, the guy that will take 1 or 2 wickets for you as your seamers are getting a bit of rest and you're using a spinner on the other side and then score some runs for you. And I think that's where a lot of people have been unsatisfied because he hasn't been scoring runs, even though he scored in the last 2-3 innings. But my other concern around that is he's scoring at 8. The other few innings where he scored, it has been batting at 8. Keen to see how he's going to do in this test. Hopefully, we'll see him showing that he actually is a number. Personally, I remember you and I had a chat. I don't know if it was a few years ago, but it wasn't long ago. We've always seen him as a top 5 batter. Personally, I don't think that has changed. But I'm always concerned that we keep rushing him back into the side. We keep rushing him back into the side. But yeah, let's see how he goes. Let's see how he goes about things. Second test match, Kochi. Changes are made. Senoran Musosami comes in. Dane Pitt sits out. Matthew Pritzker sits out, unfortunately, after getting a duck on debut. And Dane Peterson comes in. Your thoughts on that? On the changes for the second test?
I, I I did feel that Pete would be one of the changes. I thought that would be Pete for the Seamer, thinking it would be Lungi, but even there, that was one I thought would go out. So them bringing in Mojasami, I feel they are putting like they still have the because he's an all rounder in this case. So they're going in with three seamers and a spinner, and then they're all rounder. So in this case, I'm not calling Viana all rounder because of he was the genuine seamer in the previous test. So they've gone with three seamers, being Vian Mulder, KG, and Dean Patterson, and then Keshav being our spinner, and then Mutusami the all rounder, bringing in some overs. I think it might be a few more than just some, but bringing in the overs and the runs. I think the balance of all of this is very good. Do I agree on the changes? Based on the squad, I think I do agree on the changes. I would have liked Lungingidi in the team from the first game, but we didn't get that. So I understand the coach's thinking, and I think based on the squad he has, that lineup wasn't bad. Just so unfair and unfortunate on Matthew Bridgegate.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes you gotta take your chances, and sometimes even if you do take your chances, you don't. It doesn't necessarily confirm that you're gonna stay in the squad. I remember, if we go back to a Kyle Abbott took plenty of wickets on debut, and then took him a couple of years to play his second. I don't know whether it was second or his third test match. Same thing with a Marchand Delanga. I think it took about 7 in the first innings when he made his debut, and then he had to wait because he was filling in for a great bowler that was injured at the time. So it is what it is. Matthew's still young. I think he still has plenty of years of Test cricket in him. His time's gonna come, definitely. That I am sure of. But for me, in terms of the changes, I don't know. Dane Pitt didn't bowl well in the last test, so obviously it would have. It's a natural decision to go and try another spinner in his place, because you don't want to be in a situation where you saw how he was bowling and you still want to persist with him, and then he bowls badly in the second test, and then there's going to be a lot of backlash. So I think it was expected, though I would have gone differently. I would have gone for a Devil Brevis coming in at 8 and him hoeing in his leggies. Because I think that's what the coach wants. He wants that protection at 8. At 8, he wants that someone who can also score runs, and I reckon David Brevis can do that. Yes, also would have liked to see Ulungi. I think he's been bowling well. Hey, Ulungi is just one of those bowlers where when his loads are up, you can see he's in good rhythm. He's bowling well. But this takes me back to something that the coach said, and I told you this. The coach did say that his plans are to use Ulungi at home if he uses Ulungi. So I'm not surprised to see Lungi benching. I think it just took him as a precaution. It just took him as a backup. There was never a plan to take Ulungi to Bangladesh, but injuries don't send a notification before they happen. So when Nandre got injured, coach had to think, you know what, let me go for Lungi. He's got the experience, even though I'm not going to play it. But yeah, day one. I'm worried about our president. I am worried about our president. Flat pitch, he goes, plays a beautiful 33, and then gives it away. Tony comes in, scores a beautiful 100. His body was cramping. I remember they said he was cramping all over. But he said, you know what? I am not going to walk off. I'm going to score that 1-for-1, not out. Tristan Stubbs gets himself a ton. That's 100 that I really want us to talk about. I know a lot of people might misconstrue what I'm going to say. Let me just make a disclaimer. I am not criticizing Tristan Stubbs for his ton. It was beautiful. Enjoyed watching it. But I think I think it was just one of those innings where he was trying to reassure himself. I think it was one of those innings where he was basically just trying to find himself. Because I think in terms of how he plays naturally, Tristan Stubbs would have been more positive in his approach. I remember he was scoring at 40% strike rate, which was unlike him. I'm not complaining about that. It's a flat deck, and I think once he's going to get to a point where he comes in at 3 and we've got a bit of a foundation and he will play positively. I'm not saying he's going to come and buzz both things, but I'm expecting to see more in terms of him coming in when we are in trouble and him coming in when we it's a flat pitch and we are in a decent position. But I think it was a beautiful 100. He ended up increasing his strike rate as well. Uh, Hopefully, that's the first of many, coaching.
Definitely, first of many. I think coming of age in that number 3 position, and it might have not been you're saying you feel it was an innings he felt he needed for himself to show how he can be a test number 3. I felt he showed both of his games because if you if you take the short highlights and you look at the highlights of that innings, you'll see reverse sweeps, you'll see proper sweeps, you'll see down the ground over the top for 6, and it will look attacking. I think he was very positive in his positive strokes. Didn't play any stroke half-heartedly, and when he went into defense, he went ultra defense positively there again, hitting the ball onto his toes. It felt like under his eyes all the time, and then he still was able to rotate. I know the strike rate is the issue for some people because it's Tristan Stubbs, but it's still Test cricket, and he did mention after the game that it was a flat deck, yes, but it wasn't as easy to score runs. So it's one of those where if the bowler puts it on a spot, he won't get you out, but you won't be able to score the runs. And maybe when you try to score runs off that is when you will get yourself out. So it was a very mature innings, especially with the amount of talent and amount of attacking ability that he has to rein that in and just go 100, which I think a lot of us are sitting here saying we hope Aiden had done something similar.
Yeah, no, that's true, Coachy. And all the things that you mentioned are exactly what make Tristan Stubbs special. And even though a lot of people might not agree with him being a three for now, I think in the long run, people are going to see that, you know what, maybe it wasn't a bad decision after all. As much as some of us are still on the fence, I'm not against it. I've got my own reservations regarding it, but it's also something that I don't mind endorsing because I know he has the potential and he has the talent. And this innings today was full proof that Tristan Stubbs is going to score plenty of runs for the Proteas in Test cricket. Um, let's talk about David Bellingham. I think this particular game situation is made for for him. I think this particular game situation is what he needs to for him to be able to score plenty of runs. I don't know, my doubts in terms of him coming in and playing defensively, and I hope when it comes to him they just let him play the way that he does, because I feel like when he has to play within himself it sort of gets him into trouble, but when he just comes out and plays the way he plays, it sort of works out for him. I think is to some extent is similar to a Quintin de Kock. You can't tell Queenie to come and block. It's not going to work out. But if you just say go out, play your game, if it doesn't click, it doesn't click. But you know when it clicks, he's going to win you plenty of matches.
I agree on David, but I think it might be one of the reasons why we want that longer batting lineup, because we are free flowing from Tony, because Tony isn't your blockathon like other openers. He is also free flowing. First shot against spin, I think today was slog sweep for six, first big shot. So you've got all of that. You've got Aiden. Yes, Tristan today played a very conservative knock, but he's also attacking. Then you got David, who's very attacking. In this series, you've got Ryan Rickleton, who can also be very attacking. So maybe that extra batter at 7, 8, going down the order is for us to allow these guys to express themselves. Aiden did speak after the first test in one of his press conferences that they do not dictate how you need to express yourself, but go out there and express yourself how it fits into your game. So I'm hoping this allows David to play his game and attack the bowling, but I think they are not going to cage him in too much and try to make him play Test cricket. Maybe that's another reason why they let Stubbs go in at 3, saying, David, you at 5, because after Temba comes back, he'll go back to 5. You at 5, hopefully you'll have more platforms, then you'll be freer to play your role and your game in more games in the future. So stay there, play your way. And I hope that's the message behind this whole lineup.
Yeah, no, spot on, Coachy. 307 for two. After day one, we are going into day two tomorrow. It's early in the morning. Your boys are waking up. You are Shukri Conrad. What do you say to Tony and David Bedingham? What is the plan from here on?
I keep it simple. Tony, go start again because you're fresh today. Hopefully the cramps are gone. Yeah, ice baths tonight. You should be fine in the morning. We go again. These are the games you get because they put up a stat today saying that the highest strike rate, the highest average in the team is 36 at the moment, batting strike rate. So these are the games that take that 30 that Tony has. He scored 300 not out. That looks like a 45 or a 50 in no time. So these are the games you have to take advantage of. We've been playing on weird pitches for a while. It's been tough. Yes, as South Africa, we don't take our chances even sometimes when we do have a decent pitch. But we've been playing on tough pitches of late, and it has reflected in the averages of most of the batting lineup. So when you get a chance on a road, fill your boots. David, go fill your boots. A lot of people have I've looked at David and knew he was or what he can give us from his first few innings, but even that has dried up a bit, and he hasn't scored runs since that early start of his career. So all of them. Ryan Rickelton hasn't done much in international cricket. This is his chance. Put your name in the hat. When Temba comes back, make it tough for everyone to see. Maybe can you open? Maybe we'll drop Aiden. It's time for stuff like that. We need to get people scoring big runs. I'm not saying score 800, but on this pitch, the fact that we've got still 4 days to go. Go big, go very big, six close to 700.
Yeah, no, coach. And the other thing is, I don't know when they'll be able to see a road like this again. Uh, the next time they see a road will probably be when they travel, and they won't be betting on a road in anytime soon. I know the test series that we're playing against. Oh, and are we not going to Pakistan for a test series? I know. Are we?
They're coming here.
Ish. But I know the test matches that we play against Sri Lanka, we're playing in Durban and Port Elizabeth or Kabeja. Those are not roads. So the only time they're going to see a road now is when they travel. And we know normally betting in SA is not easy. So I'd pretty much say the same thing as you is keep it simple, go out there, let's bet tomorrow the whole day, and then see if we can't take the 3 days and save it for ourselves to try and bowl them out. Hopefully, there's no rain looming about. We bet tomorrow. If we can do the same thing we did today, we'll probably take ourselves to 600. You don't want to score 1,000 and put the game in bed, and now they're trying to block because they know they're not going to win it. You still want to make it look like it's still within reach. So maybe get 650, 600, and then have a go with them. And then let's see how it works. I don't know if there's anything you want to say with regards to the test match, Coachy, so that we can just quickly touch on the first game of the 4-day series, Division 1 tomorrow. And then, yeah, we will talk about the rest of the 4-day tournament on our next episode.
I think we can wait and see out the rest of the test, see the rest of the 4 days. So right now we're happy to finally score runs. This team has scored 300 for two. That should be framed and put on some walls. We haven't scored runs as the Proteas for a while, so let's keep going, score a few more, and then
Yeah,
enjoy ourselves at the ball.
definitely. At this point, they can just play. I don't care who does what, but they must just play for their averages, but play positively. The only way to play for your average, in my opinion, is to get a big 100. Doesn't have it shouldn't be a slow one, but yeah, let's go get 600 and then put the game to bed. Tomorrow, the first game of the 4-day series is starting. It's the Dolphins against Western Province, Coach R. I know the Dolphins are your home team. So
Always will be. You don't change where you come from.
they say home is where their heart is. Western Province played in the final of the 4-day tournament last season against the Lions. Um, They're playing the first game against the Dolphins, and I think they have a youngish squad there. You've got Mihlali Mpongwana, you've got Daniel Smith, you've got Valentine Kitime, you've got one of my favorites, Jonah Bird, you've got Ubongile Mfunelwa. Those are young guys. Mfunelwa was playing Ikamachola Week just 2 years ago. And then you've got your old heads, about Eddie Moore and your Yasin Valley. And there's this other guy, Wesley Beja. I'm not sure how old he is, but he looks like he's got some pace. and he's a bit skitty. I enjoy actually watching him. I saw in the T20 tournament as well. And then you've got the Dolphins on the other side. I think they've got a very experienced squad. It's guys who've been around for quite some time. Mabukaya Zondo and a few youngsters. Tristan Luce is very quick, exciting. But unfortunately, last time I checked, he's injured. They've also got youngsters like Bryce Parsons. So I don't know. How do you think the game's gonna go, Coachy? Don't choose home just because it's home. Looking at the
I
squad,
just got a question. I just got a question before we go too far. I see that the Dolphins lineup has got a David Miller. Is that true? Is David Miller going to be playing 4-day cricket for the Dolphins this year, or is this a typo? But
no,
let's move around that.
no. I think that squad. I think that's the squad for the whole season. That's why they have with David Miller. I don't think he's going to play first class cricket. He retired
Oh,
a few years ago, and he was hardly available for the T20s. I think they got him for one T20. He hardly scored runs, so I doubt it. But they've got a solid squad. You've got Otas in there. Tsepang Ditol has been scoring runs for them at the top, keeping wickets also.
yes.
So yeah,
I'm looking at more their formidable bowling lineup. I think I love the strength in depth of their seam bowling because yes, in KZN they usually have Subrian, Keshav Maharaj to destroy teams as the spinners, but they've packed the bowling lineup with they've got Ethan Bosch, my favorite Bosch. They've got Oatmeal Batman. They've got the pace of Tupavlon. They've got Oguhle, which they've stolen from the Titans last season. So that even before you look at the youngster in Tristan Lewis and others, that's already a very formidable seam bowling lineup. Then you have all rounders in there. Jason Smith, who doesn't bowl much anymore, but you've got Angele Milan, who I feel needs to get a lot of opportunity and good opportunity in this one, not just as a bowler coming in at 8. No, I want him to have some batting as well and start creating a conundrum where as South Africa, we used to be flooded with all rounders, but now we've got bowlers who bat and batters who bowl. I want a few more all rounders again, people to come fight for that number 7 spot in the Proteas lineup.
and that
So
boy that way.
Simulani can bat. I think he batted top 5 in SA under 19 while he
Okay.
was bowling rockets. So get him batting a little higher. I know the batting lineup is quite strong with Jason in form, I think, from last season. You got Marcus Ackerman, someone's favorite batter player.
Best
So
player in the country,
that,
man. You guys will eventually. Best player in the
yeah.
country. No yet.
So the team looks strong, but as I said, what excites me the most is that bowling lineup, and I hope they are able to piece it together, put the right people in at the right time, and utilize it.
Yeah, no. The most exciting thing is if they come across let's say they come across a seam friendly turf, they can easily go Ethan, Otas, Okuhle, and Tupav at 8 to 11 because they've got John who can bowl spin. They've got Bryce Parsons who can bowl spin. And one thing I know about the Dolphins, they're not afraid to take someone like Prinalyn Subrian and bet him at 7. So if they decide, or they can even go with Ethan Bosch at 7, and then have Subrian as the other spinner in the side. But also something that we spoke about earlier, they have signed Sean Whitehead on loan from the Tuskers, and I think that's because they anticipate that someone like Keshav is going to be scarce for them for the season, or maybe they just took him for a few games. But there's also youngsters like Romashan Pillay, someone that I don't know, man. I don't know whether it's the coaches or it's just or I'm the one who's seeing things incorrectly. This boy is a top 4 better, but he's being used as a number 8. Even in the under 19 side, he was used as a number 8. He's not even a big hitter. Classy batter. He has an appetite for runs. But I constantly see him batting 8. So I don't know. Hopefully, it's going to get to a point where he goes up the order somehow. But if I were him, I'd be looking at trying to go make a name for myself in Division 2. And I think this is something that most youngsters need to consider. Just take a leap of faith, go to a Division 2 side, bully people there, make everyone recognize you, then come back to Division 1. Because I feel like if he's constantly going to be batting at 8, his batting is not going to go. Sorry, his batting is not going to go anywhere. But one thing I know is they will be waiting for Tristan Lewis to get fit, which is going to make things quite interesting in that in that sim bowling department in terms of pace. Um, Let me put you on the spot. Who do you think is going to take the game? Who are you giving the game to? Western Province or the Dolphins?
I didn't even get a chance to speak a lot about the Western Province team, but I feel they are on a rebuild and are going to be using, because you've spoken a lot about a lot of the youngsters in the team, and I think they 2-3 seasons in, some of them now, so it's their time to, they've been rebuilding, let's say, for the past 2 seasons, so it's time for them to start showing the results. Your Valentine's, your, I think Michali's already started showing the fruits. So it's people like that. They need to start showing it and try to show it a little bit more consistently now. Help out people like Eddie, who's just had a beautiful T20 series. Now he's going into his favorite format. It's time to score runs. I know probably that test opening spot is gone for a while now, but just come and enjoy his game. Having said that, the experience they have, I think people like Kyle might not play as much, Kyle Verreina, because of Test cricket. So the experience they have has to really show up and help the youngsters and pull them through. But having said that, and having rattled all the names off in that Dolphins lineup, I do believe the Dolphins have an upper hand in that first one.
Oh, yeah, no, I hear you. Me, I'm undecided yet. I think Western Province has a few guys who are a bit inconsistent, which is something that the Dolphins can expose. But also, I also think if they click on the day, for example, if someone like Eddie Moore can click and then he gets support around him, he could really put the Dolphins under pressure. But yeah, also I think for me in terms of experience, consistency, I think the Dolphins are gonna take this one, provided there's not gonna be any issues with weather and stuff. Because I know here in PE, it's been raining for 2 days. It rained yesterday. It rained most of today. So hopefully the match is not going to be affected by rain. And I'm hoping it's going to be broadcast, because a test match is day 2 of the test match is done by 11:10. So we will at least be able to watch. So I hope it will be broadcast. And I hope someone like Valentine Kitime can start scoring runs. I know he was scoring runs at the academy. I don't know what happened when the season started. Maybe he found his form a bit too early and then he lost his form, or it's the batting position. I don't know, but I know he's got so much talent. But yeah, I feel like time might be running out for him at Western Province. He needs to find just a few 50s just to say, hey, I'm still here. Other than that, Coach Ara, we'll see each other at the next episode. Hopefully, we're going to watch some exciting cricket for day 2. I can't wait. I will probably stay up for the night and then watch the test match, but I'm struggling to find those illegal sites. You're bouncing there and there, but I'm not going to talk about that here. Yeah, to everyone watching, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until we meet again, Enjoy Test cricket. Cheers.
Cheers.